everybody, and welcome back. This is SaberX coming to you live with a brand new video review for the Beasts of the Mesozoic Tyrannosaurus series by Creative Beast Studio and David Silva. And today we are going to be looking at the first of the Wave 2 figures that I have received, the 1/18th scale Qianzhousaurus sinensis. So here we are. There it is, and before we take a look at this amazing figure, let's take a look at the packaging for it, shall we? So here we have our Beasts of the Mesozoic Qianzhousaurus as packaging, with art by none other than Shannon Beaumont, who has done a lot of artwork for the Tyrannosaurus series thus far. But she's not the only one doing the Tyrannosaurus series artwork, and in the next videos I will be doing, I shall show you more by other artists when we get to those figures. But you can see inside the box there is also a cardboard diorama which you can take out and place behind the figure. And along with that, you also get this collector card with Shannon Beaumont's artwork on the front and an image of the figure on the back, along with the cardboard diorama cutout, as well as some information on it, which of course is also on the back of the box. Yeah. And of course you get your obligatory product shots. And yeah, as you can see, there's quite a few Tyrannosaurs for Wave 2. And we will be reviewing those soon. But in addition to the collector card, you also get the ever-important sets of instructions. And these instructions are absolutely... yeah, these absolutely are necessary if you want to put your figure together without breaking it. Trust me on that. You do not want a broken Tyrannosaur figure, or you will deeply regret it, and it will not be pleasant for anyone. But basically what you do is, for popping the tail into the base of the hip joint, as it shows here, you just want to heat it up either in hot water or in hot air from a hairdryer. And I choose the hairdryer method. I find the hairdryer method most effective. I mean, it takes a little longer than hot water does, probably, but I find the results work pretty much every single time. Like 99.99% of the time, they work. So that's my preferred method. And they also tell you in the instruction manual to use the posing rod to help keep this figure upright. Unlike the larger Tyrannosaurs, which can stand up of their own volition because of the fact that they are very stable with their standing legs, Qianzhousaurus and the juvenile Tyrannosaurus and the upcoming Electrosaurus, they don't have extra standing legs. They actually have just a single set of legs, but they do have extra feet, and that allows them to be more posable, but at the cost of being able to stand up on their own, more or less. I mean, you can technically stand them up if you balance them correctly, but it's difficult at best, and sometimes the joints on the figures are kind of loose, depending on the individual figures. So I wouldn't recommend it unless you know how tightly your figure's joints would be. But yeah, definitely not the definitely not something you want to do. Not without assessing the risks first. But it also comes, of course, with posing rods like this one underneath the figure. Not to mention, hang on just a second. Da 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 da! An extra clamp for the hip joint. An extra smaller posing rod for low poses. And of course, extra sets of different feet in different positions, like these running toes. Or rather, these mid-step toes, I should say. These are, in fact, the running toes. Now, these same toes are actually shared between the Qianzhousaurus and the juvenile Tyrannosaurus in regards to their general shape, along with the D-long Paradoxus. You can also switch bases between the juvenile T-Rex and the Qianzhousaurus because the base is pretty much the same, just painted differently. That's totally up to you, but I find that quite cool that you can actually switch out the bases for one another. But yeah, to each their own. And yeah, with that in mind, let's move on to the actual figure itself. And we'll start by taking him off the stand. Now, he does peg in. There are actually pegs on the bottom of the base. And you can actually take him off that like this so that we can see him firsthand. And looking at this figure itself, it is absolutely stunning. I mean, look at this. Look at that color scheme. Now, the color scheme is actually based off that of a Malaysian blue coral snake, which is one of the most venomous snakes in the world, and it also has the longest venom glands of any snake. They actually take up to like 1/4 to 1/3 of its body length, which is kind of scary. Actually, no, it's wicked scary. But yeah, the Malaysian coral snake pattern, yeah, it really works for Qianzhousaurus. Makes it look really terrifying. And this color scheme actually makes me feel like this should be the male Qianzhousaurus, particularly since I've seen the Qianzhousaurus color scheme that was used in Prehistoric Planet. Personally, since that one was a female, I like to think this one is the male to that female, and he's just more colorful. But to each their own, I guess. But yeah, you can see absolutely these blacks into the blue and the red and the nice faded underbelly underneath, and even into the feet. Yeah, just absolutely amazing. And you get to see little speckles and splotches of color that are really uneven and just make the figure look individual. And they also kind of make the feet look a little dirty, like he's been walking through mud and his feet are just starting to dry off. But yeah, absolutely phenomenal. Now, in regards to articulation, and Qianzhousaurus has about 20 points of articulation. He's absolutely amazing. The jaws open about this far, as you can see. And if you look inside the mouth, he's got some amazing teeth. He's also got a little hole in the back of his mouth, which is pretty much the entranceway to his throat. But I think at some point there was supposed to be a ball-jointed tongue in there, but I'm not entirely sure. It may just, it just may be the entrance to his throat to make it look more realistic. But I really do think a ball-jointed tongue was meant to be in there initially, and they decided to instead make that the hole down to his the hole that leads down his throat to his esophagus. But yeah, these jaws open and close about that far, and about this far they open. So nice range. Yeah, the shoulders move a full 360. They do have some outward movement like this, inward movement like that. So a little closer. The elbows move about this far. Now, the wrist articulation is only in and out like so. They can't move Yeah, they can't move back and forward like this. It's just not possible with this particular joint, but you do get full 360 wrist swivel for Qianzhousaurus for both arms. The left arm on, well, I should say the right arm on my Qianzhousaurus is a little stiffer than the left one, but that can be fixed with just a little bit of extra heating and just moving the joint more. The neck can move left about that far, can move right about the same distance. It can look really far up like that, and his downward movement is a little limited, but that's still pretty damn good in regards to in regards to his movements. But absolutely amazing. He can move his torso, of course, about this far up. Not the furthest up it can go, but can also move it this far down. But he can also move his legs a full 360, though I don't recommend doing it because, well, yeah, you risk you risk popping out the joints. But yeah, the knees can also move about this far back, this far forward, just like the juvenile T-Rex. Ankles can move this far back, this far forward, and the feet can also move as well. And you can actually pop the feet off to switch out for feet of different positions. I personally choose not to do that because I like these feet, and honestly I like having the balance that they have in regards to combining with this to keep the figure stable on the stand. But that's my personal preference. You are free to pop off the feet however you choose, and yeah, it absolutely looks phenomenal. I also should mention the tail moves about this far to the right, this far to the left, this far up, and this far down. And of course, it also has a bendy wire in the tail, so you can actually pose it in any direction that you choose to. Yeah, so you can do a lot with this figure in regards to posing him. And yeah, this is absolutely one of the coolest of the Wave 2 Tyrannosaurs that has thus far been released, and it is absolutely my favorite of the 3 Tyrannosaurs I have thus far gotten from Wave 2 as of yet. Yeah, it's absolutely incredible. Now, the other cool thing about Qianzhousaurus is that this is actually a member of the Aleoramini. It's a group of slender-snouted tyrannosaurs that were living pretty much at the end of the Cretaceous. They are basically the cheetahs of the family. And what's interesting is that Qianzhousaurus, we only have one skeleton for it, but that skeleton gives us a pretty good idea of what this dinosaur was like. It lived in China about 66 million years ago, and it would have been absolutely one of the fastest dinosaurs in its environment. Yeah, it would have been taking down other dinosaurs such as Corythoraptor, just like in Prehistoric Planet, which was a contemporary species with this animal in its native habitat. On top of this, Qianzhousaurus probably would have had to compete with Tarbosaurus for space and food. However, the fact that Qianzhousaurus had this long snout, which of course gives it its other nickname, Pinocchio Rex, also makes it unique in that it could have gone after much smaller prey. And that's probably what it was doing. It was probably a fast-running predator that basically hunted small animals for food and stayed out of the way of the bigger tyrannosaurs. The thing of it is, bigger tyrannosaurs probably would have tried to eat it when they got the chance. I mean, this is not a small animal. It was about 20 to 25 feet long when fully grown, and the animal we do have is not fully grown in regards to the specimen, but it was pretty close to getting fully grown. And it also represents the adult for an Aleoramen tyrannosaur. But yeah, Aleoramens basically did not undergo the transition from slender juvenile to robust adults that larger tyrannosaurs like Tarbosaurus or Tyrannosaurus rex did. They were a completely different breed, and from what we understand, they were only found in Asia. The family, including the two species of Aleoramus and Qianzhousaurus itself, they only were found in areas like Mongolia and China because there was probably something going on that kept these tyrannosaurs from migrating to North America. Maybe they evolved too late for that to happen. Maybe competition from other tyrannosaurs in North America kept them out. No one's quite sure, but yeah, they were very, very interesting. And it turns out they had a weaker bite compared to juvenile tyrannosaurs of larger species that were comparable in size at certain points in their growth. So a juvenile Tarbosaurus, for example, would have still had a stronger bite than Qianzhousaurus if it was to encounter one. So it's quite likely that a juvenile Tarbosaurus about the same size could probably beat Qianzhousaurus in a fight. Just something interesting to think about. It probably was, yeah, probably he had a similar lifestyle to a cheetah, where bigger predators would have probably driven it off from a kill, and it probably would have had to hunt often in order to survive, just to make up for getting its kills stolen all the time by other larger predators. Nevertheless, yeah, just an amazing animal, and I hope we genuinely find new specimens for it. Now, in regards to pricing, this figure is not the most horrendous in regards to price. It is about $60 now. I pre-ordered it for $55 for my birthday, and yeah, I got this guy for pretty much a steal by using the pre-order price first before it expired. And along with Suski Tyrannus and Proceratosaurus, this was one of the first three from Wave 2 that I got. And I really look forward to sharing the rest with you guys. But if you really want a colorful, very beautifully done Tyrannosaur figure that's not quite, that's not quite like T-Rex, that's just really unique and bright and beautiful, this is definitely the one for you, I think. And this is a dinosaur that has become a lot more, as I've said before, a lot more noticeable in popular culture. It's been appearing in video games like Jurassic World Evolution 2. It is in Prehistoric Planet, where you get to see a female hunt Corythoraptor. Yeah, just all manner of stuff is making Qianzhousaurus more famous, and I really hope that we'll get to see more of it, because this is just a really cool animal. And yeah, for $60, it's a decent price, and it's not the worst, but yeah, not the worst in regards to price, but it's affordable, and I say go for it if you have the money to do so. And especially since it's basically the complete opposite of a Tyrannosaurus rex while still being part of the same family. yeah, it's like a cheetah against a lion. But yeah, definitely worth getting, and I cannot recommend this dinosaur enough as part of the toy line for someone to collect. So if you're interested, I would recommend getting it before it potentially goes out of stock like the Qianzhousaurus did for the Ceratopsian line. Another figure I got that was really wonderful, and yeah, get it before it's gone. So this is SaberX signing off, saying, you're never too old to play with toys. Be a toy nerd, be proud of it. Thank you, have a good day, and if you like this video, please leave a like, leave a comment, and hit the subscribe button if you'd like to see more of my content. Thank you, and have a wonderful evening. Good night, everyone. Bye-bye.